Good afternoon, traders. It is Thursday, June 9th, 2016, and the U.S. stock market is closed. Hey, unfortunately, I was absolutely correct about everything I predicted today was going to happen. Um, I wish that if I was so accurate with my predictions that I'd make money, but my predictions were that this was a very dangerous situation and we were vulnerable to a lot of problems today, and that was exactly what happened. If you've been watching my videos for the last 2 days, I've been talking about the iron ceiling, and that iron ceiling runs right along here. It's the 18,000 mark in the Dow. And I can't tell you how many problems this area has caused us in the past. I mean, going back quite a long ways. It is just poison for us. When we get into this area, we can't make any money. And one of the things that this is so close to all-time record highs for the Dow. You would think that would be an area where we would be making a lot of money. That's not true. Huge amounts of selling seems to come into the marketplace when we get into this area, and consequently, we buy things on breakouts, but they can't go past the breakout point. That's the way it. And then they sell off, and there was a lot of selling in stocks today, and it really hurt us. I called the Dow down. It did, in fact, close down 20 points, but it was down a lot further down here. Um, we were down, you know, like 80, 90 points down here at the low. Uh, but regardless, the Dow was negative almost all day, except for a brief period right up at the very top of there, right before the close, and then it sold off at the end. Very ominous. Okay, the statistics is absolutely horrible. We had negative about $7,000 in open trade yesterday. Uh, Stocks opened down. You know, this is where we're getting out in this area with them down pretty hard. And yeah, that negative $7,000 went to negative $20,000 to close out. Just horrible. Massacred, eviscerated by horrible stocks. And we did get into 5 new positions. 2 are positive, 3 are negative, and we are holding negative $2,000 going into tomorrow. And on top of it all, we had one horrible disappointment in one stock, and I'm going to show you that in a second. I just want to say we were doing really well when the Dow was going down here. We had good positive open trade equity, over $10,000 at one point. When things turn around and start climbing back up toward the iron ceiling, everything went to hell and went negative. And I'm going to show you some of that. This is my problem. I expected this down opening in the Dow. I predicted it. But what drives me crazy is this turnaround down here, and it starts coming back up and gets, I think, 2 points above the iron ceiling right here, then pulls back. We we'd make a lot of money if this thing somehow took off and headed for 20,000, but it's not going to do that. What it's going to keep doing is getting us into crap up here and then selling off like it did here, and more back there. It just we're just going to keep getting killed. And if it doesn't get out of this area, this is the worst place to be, hanging right up here. I'm just going crazy watching this. Anyway, all right, I'll show you a few trades. I'll show you the best of the closed out trades we had. And I really didn't show this before, but this turned out to be the best thing we had closing out, but it wasn't anywhere near enough to offset all the massive losses. This is Lululemon Athletica. We bought this yesterday, right near the open. It kept going very nicely. It closed nicely. It opened lower, but then popped up really nice there for our exit. And we took $2.4 thousand out of Lululemon. So that was real good. There was nothing else was good. This was far more typical of what we were faced with. You know, I think we had 13 positions. You know, almost everything went bad. This is Agios Pharmaceuticals. We bought this yesterday. We actually closed with a profit, and then bow, down we go. We're stopped up there, and that was a big loss. That's $4.6 thousand loss right there. It kept going down. I mean, I'm glad we got out of it, but man, you can't make money on the long side with this kind of action, and we saw this over and over again in most of the stocks we were trading. We were just massively negative. You know, we had $25,000 in losing trades and only $5,000 in winning trades. So not real good. But you know, if all this is pretty horrible, I'm going to tell you what really killed me today. This is a trade you may recall we did really well in it in just a few days ago. This is CLRB, which is Collector Biosciences, Selector Biosciences. I'm having trouble talking. That's how bad a day was. Anyway, CLRB. We bought this here. This big explosive move here. Maybe there's some news here, like a rumor that got denied. I don't know. I don't know the fundamentals on it. But anyway, we got into this thing, and we're buying over 16,000 shares with this. When this thing does this kind of action, there's a lot of money to be made. When CLRB gets up here, we are up $10,000, positive $10,000. I'm just dancing on the ceiling. I think this is great because this is exactly what happened before. If you recall before, not only did we get one of these huge runs ups, but then it pulled back a little, and then we had a second run up. So that became a really great trade for us. This time we get the first run up, and you know, within 20 minutes, it's falling apart and comes down, 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 and ends up closing down here. Negative $3,000 on the close. So we've gone from positive 10,000 to negative 3,000. A $13,000 negative swing on CLRB. Just terrible. The day was bad, but this just made it horrible. This would have been a big bright spot for the day had we, if this thing had kept going, we would have offset the majority of our losses from this morning. It didn't happen. It just added to our losses. In fact, this is the biggest loss of those 5 positions that we're carrying. Anyway, horrible day, and I hope we can get off this iron ceiling really quick. We need to go one way or another. We don't want to be hanging up there. You just can't make money in that area. Anyway, that's the way it went. This is Trader Bob signing off. I'll be back here tomorrow on Friday.